Hey guys, it's Deena, your mindset evolutionary here at flynubianqueen.com, the network for the melanated women, just like you and me. Hey everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Let's jump right into this. Um, Lizzo, please girl, put some clothes on. Please. Is body positivity, I have a question for Lizzo and all the Lizzo fans out there. Is body positivity the same as slut culture? Does body positivity mean you never have any clothes on? This is something I'm trying to understand right now because I don't know if we're aware of this as a society or a community, but we are seeing someone who is severely acting out. I wouldn't be surprised if this woman had a nervous breakdown soon. I wouldn't be surprised if something happened to her where she was hospitalized due to drug use, because this type of behavior is not normal. This is not the type of behavior that is exhibited by someone who has who has a healthy self-image, or someone who is really celebrating who they are. And I want to do what I can to have compassion for Lizzo right now, because I don't know what she's going through. I don't know her personally, but what I see is I see a woman who I think she's asking for help. I think she's asking for help. She's trying to tell us something. And what she's trying to tell us is not body positivity. This is not telling me that you love yourself. So I'm just putting this out to Lizzo that, girl, if you need help, if you're struggling with something, if something is going on with you, please seek the help that you need. And I know there's going to be some people out there to be like, oh, you're just hating and you're just, oh, why she just doing her thing. I want us to take a moment and really, really look at what's going on with this sister. It's not about shaming her. I felt very triggered earlier when I was on here with Jade Arendelle. We were talking about this. I felt very triggered. But she is being used. She's being manipulated. But I think it has something to do with things that may have happened to her in her past. And again, this is just speculation. But do you think that this is the mark of a woman with high self-esteem, a woman with high body positivity? And then the question I pose to those of us in the community who are feminist, who are into body positivity, is body positivity synonymous with slut culture or thought culture? Please help me understand. I'm trying to understand. Maybe I'm the old fuddy-duddy. Maybe I'm the person who is, too uptight, too frigid. I just don't think all of this is necessary, especially from a woman as gifted as Lizzo. So to me, it seems like it's a cry for help. It seems like we need to embrace this sister in a different way. Like, she keeps upping the ante. And I don't know if you guys know this, but that is something that can happen quite a bit with someone who has been being severely abused. They keep doing more and more outrageous things to try to get the attention of those around them. It's almost like a internal cry for help that comes outward through your actions and your behaviors. The same thing can happen with a woman who's being abused physically, like not sexually, but just physically abused. She can start to do things like cut herself or get into a lot of accidents in addition to the abuse that she's experiencing. And that's a way for her, like a silent cry for help. And that's kind of like what I'm seeing, I think, with Lizzo, because some of this stuff, honestly, is just not necessary. Like, she's already been named Entertainer of the Year by Time Magazine. She's already been celebrated at the Grammys, et cetera, et cetera. So it's almost like it's overkill. So what is she trying to tell us? So I'm gonna look at some comments right now. And Shay Alexis Rose say, "Why does it matter to you though? Let her live." It matters to me because she's a member of our community. It matters to me because after a while, I'm wondering if this woman is okay. Maybe she's trying to tell us something. Adrian Turner says, "Who is she talking about?" I'm talking about Lizzo. Yolanda Neville says, "So what about the other chicks that do it? What makes them any different?" Yolanda, we talk about those other women too. But Lizzo is a member of our community. And so as a member of our community, I think that we have some responsibility to try to understand what's going on with her. Why is she acting out? She's representing our community. A lot of our young girls and young women are looking up to her. And even though she's talented and beautiful and so gifted in a lot of ways, she's acting out like a person who's being abused. That's something we shouldn't ignore. That's something we should pay very close attention to. I'm pretty sure there's probably some women in your life right now that you know who are acting out in the same way. And I bet you if you sit down and have a frank conversation with them, you will find out that 9 times out of 10, not 100%, but 9 times out of 10, they have some form of severe abuse that happened to them when they were young. I think Jade Arendelle brought this up in the earlier conversation that we were having. It was triggering for me because my mom was a victim of abuse, sexual abuse. And my mom had no boundaries in terms of walking around the house naked all the time. And sometimes I just didn't want to see that. So I'm going to admit to my own bias that it was a lot sometimes to just always see your mom just walking around with the cheeks and everything out. But understanding that now as an adult woman, she had no boundaries because her boundaries had been violated. And so to her, she couldn't even fathom that she was violating my boundaries because I wanted, to not have to necessarily look at my mom walking around naked all day long. Sometimes I just wanted to be a little girl and not have to be confronted with all of that. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like she was doing anything to me. It's just that was her. She didn't have boundaries in that way. She wasn't touching me. She wasn't, doing anything sexual to me. But sometimes it was a bit much, especially when I got older. When I got older and I wanted to have my own space and not be confronted with that. So I can recognize or what I see from my perspective. And I will freely admit that this is just my perspective. But seeing how my mom was and some of the acting out, and it was minor for her, but she told me about the severe abuse that she went through from the age of 9 to 11. I'm seeing some of this same behavior in terms of always feeling like you have to be naked, feeling like there's no boundaries, right? And someone whose boundaries have been violated. That's a correlation. So now I'm not talking about shaming her. I'm talking about recognizing cries for help, recognizing when someone is trying to let you know that they're internally going through something. And it's showing in their behaviors. And we as a community, we can have compassion for that. So earlier I was very triggered. It just really bothered me that she was in the hands of the industry, and the industry was, to me, abusing her further, exploiting her further, based on what the photographer said his vision was. And so for those of you who may have missed it earlier, I just want to bring it up again so that you guys can know this is not even coming from me. Lizzo is being likened to a whore. And this is by Rolling Stone and David LaChapelle and others within her industry. She's not being held up for her talents and gifts. She's being held up as the image of promiscuity and Jezebel or slut culture. But it's almost like they're disguising slut culture by another name, which is called body positivity. Predators are very slick. They're very, very slick. That's how they're able to groom people, children, women, adults. They're able to groom people into these relationships through the words that they use, the charm. They're very, very slick. So let me just read this quote from Rolling Stone magazine. This came out January 23rd of 2020. That is yesterday. Quote, "I'm so much more than my body," end quote. Singer Lizzo says as she poses nude for Rolling Stone magazine. And this is a quote from Celebrity, from the celebrity section of LucyPost.com. American singer-songwriter Lizzo is the cover star on Rolling Stone's latest issue, The Truth Hurts. And in some of the photos for the magazine, she went completely naked to promote body positivity. I'm so much more than my body. Well then, sister girl, how about you put some clothes on? If you want us to see you as so much more than your body, put some clothes on, sis. And this is not about shaming you. This is not about shaming you. This is about protecting yourself. Like, what are you really, like, why are you doing this? Because you quote unquote want to? Okay, is this how you want to be remembered? Because right now, nobody's thinking about the fact that you can play the flute. Nobody's thinking about the fact that you can sing. I'm going to give you the insight, and not all men think like this, but I just want to give you guys a little bit of insight into how some men really think about these things. Okay, I was talking to a guy friend about this earlier. He didn't even know about it because he works and, he has a family, has a baby on the way, he's married. Decent guy, probably could be considered the average guy. We're talking about this. And I said, what do you think? And he and I were very close friends. So he was honest with me. He said, thank God for low self-esteem, insecure bitchs that need validation from the outside to make herself feel better. I'm not into fat chicks, but I still want to see. Let me go online now. Hold on, I'm about to click and see if I can find it. Does that sound like he has respect for her and her body? Does that sound like he's celebrating her body positivity? And yes, this is one individual, but I had never really heard him talk like this before because that's not typically, the type of person he is. But I asked him, I really want to know your thoughts because I'm thinking about, speaking about this again. And I'm kind of concerned for this woman. And that's when he said, hey, you know what? And we talked about Kim K. We talked about Amber Rose. And I was like, I don't think you really want to see this. I mean, are you into, BBWs? And he was like, nah, not really. And then, that's when he said this quote. Thank God for low self-esteem, insecure bitchs like Amber Rose and Kim K that need validation from the outside to make herself feel better. I'm not into fat chicks, but I still want to see. Let me go ahead online and click. And I wrote this down. I said, hold on, let me write this down. Of course, he doesn't want me to say his name because, everybody would try to rip him a new one. But he was being honest with what he thought in relation to women that put themselves out there like this. And he's an average guy. He's like married, got a baby, coming, got kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a bad person at all. As far as I can tell, he's the average guy. So imagine if the average guy is thinking like this. He sees this as low self-esteem in a woman, not high self-esteem. So can you imagine what other types of men and women are thinking? This does not say body positivity to me. This says hypersexuality. This says I'm open and available to anyone. This says something happened to me. That's what this says. Because you're on TikTok. TikTok is geared towards children. Their main demographic is people under the age of 18, minors. And once again, we have Lizzo doing very inappropriate behaviors on an app that's going to be seen by tweens. That's mostly used by tweens. And she's on there saying, taste this F-U-C-K-E-R, as she undoes a man's sweatpants. We need to be concerned for our sister. We need to be concerned for our sister. Something's going on. Something is going on with her. And the question I'm asking, is body positivity becoming the same as slut culture? Maybe body positivity is a disguise for slut culture. And who is perpetuating slut culture? That is the question of the hour, people. That's something we need to be thinking about. Predators. Predators. People who want open sexual access to women, girls, boys, and everything. That's who's going to promote slut culture disguised as body positivity. Why can't I be proud of my body with all my clothes on? In order for me to be proud of my body, I have to be nude with my legs open for everybody to see, or with my butt cocked all up in the air like I'm ready to receive. No, I'm sorry, no. I love myself, and I know that I don't have to do that in order to be heard, in order to be seen. And definitely, if I want love and respect, I know that I don't have to do that in order to get love and respect. And we should let our sister know that she doesn't have to do that either. We don't have to shame her. We don't have to call her out of her name. We don't have to be mean or rude to her, because I'm thinking what our sister needs right now is for us to embrace her in love, because something is going on. Something's going on. With each new milestone that she hits, she comes out, she does something crazy, something totally uncalled for. Why are you on TikTok, my sis? Lizzo, sister girl, why are you on TikTok? That's for tweens, people under the age of 18, my dear. And you're on there pretending, talking about taste this F-U-C-K-E-R, pretending or simulating you're on your knees, you're acting like you're gonna. What are you doing, sister girl? Those are kids that are watching. It's the same thing that we were discussing with, in case you didn't get it, because there were those of us who wanted to defend her and say, oh, they ain't had nothing to do, y'all making it too much because kids, it wasn't about the kids. Y'all fake outraged about the kids. Okay, well, this was a family event where she was doing this. And okay, hey, maybe some of us were wrong to jump to conclusions to say that, she should have had the kids in mind. But now, just in case you didn't get it when she did this, that she's been violated and she now wants to violate the public. Here you go. It couldn't be any plainer than this. She goes right straight directly to where the kids hang out. This is a cry for help, people. This is a cry for help. Something has gone on with this woman, and she is acting out really, really ugly. This is not the mark of a woman with high self-esteem. Don't let those predators out there fool you. A man is going to look because he's a man. He might even try to touch it, right? It's up to you as the woman. It's up to us as a society to set the boundaries and say what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. And also, as I said in one of my other videos before, when women speak up about sexual assault in our community, do we listen? This is a form of somebody speaking up. And I'm almost, I want to say like 90% sure that at some time in the future, Lizzo will be talking to us about some past sexual assault, rape, molestation, or some sexual abuse that's happened to her early in her life. I'm almost guaranteed that that's going to happen. Not that I'm trying to wish this on her or anything, but just understanding what has happened in my family and the stories that my mom told me, and then looking and seeing how that affected the women in my family, and then friends and associates that I had throughout my life who were very promiscuous and kind of did things like this, always had a backstory. Almost without fail, they had a backstory. And that backstory was tragic. And so what I'm saying right now is that I think we need to embrace her. I think those of us who want to go to her Twitter accounts, those of us who want to go to her Instagram and let her know, sis, we are here for you. What's going on? Put some clothes on, sis. We're not trying to shame you. We're just saying, whatever you need, whatever, take some time for yourself. Get out of the spotlight for a second. You're going to be okay. Take care of yourself. Self-care is the most important thing. If you're a victim of sexual abuse, if you're a victim of any type of violation of your personal space or boundaries at any point in your life, do what you need to do to get right. And if you guys still think I'm simply hating, let's go back to the quote from David LaChapelle himself, the photographer for Rolling Stone. It explains his inspiration for the Lizzo Rolling Stone cover and shoot. Okay? Now he talks about Lizzo's music is, quote, her music is sort of escapist and happy. And I was really drawn to her for that joy that she's got. She is the kind of girl that I would gravitate to in high school. So he sees that she's singing this happy music and all that, and he's gravitating to her as the kind of girl he would want to be around in high school. Now let's fast forward. This is an article written by Claire Schaefer. Dave LaChapelle, just to give you guys a little background, he started off working with the famous artist Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, right? So this guy's got a lot of history, a lot of respect for his work in the industry. So again, let me just remind you, he's saying that he was drawn to her, that her music, this is a quote, is sort of escapist and happy. And I was really drawn to her for that joy that she's got. She is the kind of girl that I would have gravitated to in high school. So then let me show you what type of vision came out of that. He sees that this girl is happy and joyful, and this is the vision that he came up with for his portrayal of her. This is the setting he wanted to create it, to put this happy, joyful, escapist girl that he would have been drawn to in high school. This is where his mind took him, okay? The inspiration, this is from David LaChapelle, was a brothel bordello from Harlem in the Prohibition era that was inspired by, at that time, what they would call it Orientalism. Because back then, Orientalism was anything Egyptian or Chinese or Japanese. They'd had the Egyptian revival movement, and there was an Art Deco thing to it as well. So the interviewer asked, LaChapelle asked, what would this bordello look like, and what would this speakeasy look like? So you listen to what I'm saying here. He in one breath says her music is escapist and happy, and he was really drawn to her for her joy that she's got. She is the kind of girl that I would have gravitated to in high school. Then he goes on to say the inspiration for the art that he's created around her was a brothel bordello in Harlem in the Prohibition era. And he's trying to imagine, as he's creating this work, what would this bordello look like? What would this speakeasy look like? Well, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like real quick. This is what it's going to look like. Beautiful work. The guy is talented. But do we notice that she has on see-through clothes? And she's like glamorous, but at the same time, he's imagining her in a brothel. That means she's a whore or a madam, a prostitute. But he was drawn to her because of her joy and because she was happy. Doesn't that sound like a predator? Doesn't that sound like a predator? That sounds exactly like somebody who sees a nice little girl, a cute little girl, or a happy-go-lucky woman, and they're doing their own thing, and they're excited about life, and they start projecting this really dark, negative vision onto the person that they're getting ready to abuse. Then we got it again. Maybe I'm way out there. I don't know. You guys let me know. Okay, this is a part of his vision as well. Playing the flute, right? Playing the flute. Nude. Nude. On an ottoman. Again, inside the bordello is the vision he's having of her in the bordello. Very beautiful, but also very dark. Then we got this one. Laying on the couch with her legs up and open. With a naked man right here with nothing but socks on. A John, perhaps, in Harlem. This is his vision of the woman that he was drawn to, whose music is, quote, sort of escapist and happy. And then the day that comes out, what is she doing? She's on TikTok pretending to perform fellatio and cursing and being lewd on an app that is mainly for children, mainly used by children. I think this is a cry for help. I think if we say we love this girl, we love her music, we care about her as a member of the community, I think we need to reach out to her and embrace her and ask her if she is okay. And let her know that it's okay for her to take a moment to take care of herself. Because being in this industry can be a lot. Especially if you're someone who has been hurt in your past, whose boundaries have been violated. Anyway, these are my thoughts. So let me read a few of your comments before I get ready to get out of here. Let's see. Let me start from the bottom here. Head Honcho says, now that fool's up. Rosalind Russell Bennett says, yes, it does. Demikel Grant says she was trying to rep BBWs and it backfired. They used her. They're making her out to be a whore, but the crazy thing about it is she's doing it in cahoots with them. So to me, that says, I don't know that this is something she really, really, really wants to do. Like, is this something she really wants to do, or is this something that she convinced herself is okay because of something else that's going on inside her? This is taking it too far, babe. Like, you can do what you want, but when you're specifically going on to an app that is catered to kids under 18 and doing these kind of lewd acts, if this was a man, they would have the police and the FBI on her immediately. She would be getting labeled as a pedophile doing something like that. I think she is being used, honestly, because I don't believe that this woman would want to do these things. Like, truly, if she loved herself, if she truly, this quote where she says, I'm more than my body. Lizzo, sister girl, we hear you. If you need to back out of this situation, back out of this industry for a moment and take some time for yourself, I encourage you to do that. Put some clothes on, sis. Body positivity doesn't mean you have to walk around nude. Don't let those predators and those crazy feminist people tell you that. That's BS. Body positivity means valuing yourself and valuing your body and valuing who you are on the inside as well as the outside, and not allowing people to use you. That's body positivity. That's what we should be teaching our girls. As I spoke about earlier, we have a lady named Lolo Jones. This is more of an extreme case, but she's still a virgin at the age of 37 because she wanted to preserve herself for marriage. And she talks about how difficult it is dating, because she feel like she waited a little too late because she was so focused on being an Olympian and being into sports and everything, that she wasn't into the whole casual sex thing. She was focused on what she was doing, and then when she looked up, she was still a virgin and she was in her 30s. But I'm going to say there's nothing wrong with that. She preserved herself. She values herself. She has discipline. Doesn't seem like she's been abused. Beautiful woman. Beautiful woman. I'm sure she's not perfect. Now, here's a moment where she had a nude photo, right? Pretty tasteful. Still nude, but, you know, somewhat tasteful, right? Why aren't we celebrating her as something for girls to look up to? Because this gives all these predators more sexual access, because girls are looking up to this as something to do. How you gonna say no when you're like this? You have the right to say no matter what position you're in, but how you gonna say no and have someone take you seriously when you're positioning yourself like this? All right, what else do you guys have to say before I close this out? Jenny M.S. Jade Red says, that's way out in left field. I get how from afar people draw you in, and once you get to know them, your perspective changes. Demikio Grant says, facts. Rosalind Russell Bennett says, I think she convinced herself that it was okay to do. That's what happens sometimes when people are abused as well. They will try to justify and make themselves feel better about what's happening in order for them to keep moving forward and not, you know, want to kill themselves or hurt themselves or just go into the deep end of depression. They kind of convince themselves that it's okay to do it. And I'm not here to judge, to say like if it's okay for her to do this or not. I was very triggered earlier. But, you know, I'm pulling back on that now to say that, you know, Lizzo, we love you. You're a member of our community. You're a sister girl. And if you're dealing with something and some demons, we are encouraging you to address that. Do not let this industry use you like this. Don't let them use you like this and put you into a position where you're out here doing things that are hurting the little ones or exposing the little ones to craziness. Even look at that little childlike look in her eye right here. That's a lot. Kids don't need to see that. It's one thing that, you know, I'm being bombarded with it on my daily every time I open up my daggone timeline. Can you imagine what that's like for a child that is trying? It's like being exposed to porn. It's like being exposed to porn, basically. Imagine being a kid and you're scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok, because maybe your parents don't even let you get on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, but they feel like TikTok is okay because it's for kids. And your kid is watching that. She's using profanity and everything. Hey, head honcho, you said she probably didn't know. I didn't know TikTok was for teens. Entertainers know. They know, because when their people come in, they let them know which demographics they're going to hit depending on which social media platforms they are on. Mostly everybody out here in Hollywood knows what the different social media platforms, what demographics they hit. That's part of something we have to know when we're doing promotion and things of that nature. So I get that it's possible that she didn't know, and maybe that's going to be her excuse when people start calling her out about it. But everyone pretty much knows that TikTok is for teens. Now, you didn't know because either A, you don't have any kids, or B, it's not your demographic. They're not aiming TikTok to you. That's why you didn't know that. They're advertising TikTok for kids. Rosalind Russell Bennett says, yes, my 13-year-old niece is on it all the time. Now we are going to have a deep conversation. Rosalind Russell Bennett, absolutely, because they're trying to put these images. This is not by accident. They're trying to put these images out on these different platforms to rope in your children, to rope in the general society, to make sexual access for these hyper-sexed predators a free-for-all. And I'm not here for it. And I think in our community in particular, we should definitely lock arms on things like this and say no. And if we have a sister or a brother who is going through something out here and we can clearly see it, we can let them know, hey, we support you getting the help you need. Mental health is a real issue in our community. And that's why we see some of these entertainers and stuff out here acting out. This industry draws people in who have suffered from abuse and then continues to abuse them, because people who have been abused are much more easy to manipulate because their boundaries have been violated. And a lot of them have never done the work, the healing that they needed to do, and the repairs to bring the boundaries, put their boundaries back intact. And if you guys want to learn more about that, you can definitely go to flynubianqueen.com and look up my videos on, I discuss, does the Black women have lack healthy boundaries with the larger society? And then I go through solutions. I don't like to bring you guys problems without solutions. So I talk about how you can restore your boundaries. Lizzo, if you happen to see this video, I'm sure there's 1,000 videos out here. You may or may not see this one. But if you happen to see it, go watch that video of mine. Check it out. It's important to have boundaries. It's important to have healthy boundaries for yourself, for your society, the community. We need to have conversations with our young women and let them know what this is about. This is not about her just simply expressing herself. This is about her expressing some deep insecurities inside herself. And again, this is just my interpretation. I'm not an expert, but this is just based on some of the work I've been doing, some of the experiences that I've had. And this is kind of an opinion piece that I wanted to put out to the community to ask the question, is body positivity just a new name for slut culture? Does body positivity mean that we have to walk around nude? Can you still have a positive image of your body and put some clothes on? Or is this just part of a societal grooming, especially of Black women in the community? Is this part of a societal grooming by a predatory, larger society? These are questions we have to ask. These are the tough questions. These are the things we don't want to think about or talk about. But these are the things that are needed. If we say we love Black women and Black girls like we say we do, if we're really saying that we love Black women and girls the way we say we do, then we would want to shield them from behaviors like this, and like this, when we have the larger society saying that they see a happy, talented girl with joy, and then the vision that they have for her is she's in a Harlem brothel. Is that not sick? And this is from the man's own words, his own mouth. Is something about that not sick to you? Because to me, it sounds off. It sounds like a predator who's identifying a victim that he's ready to groom. That's what it sounds like to me. You see a happy-go-lucky girl who's got so much joy, and she's over there playing her flute and dancing and doing her thing, and now you got this vision where you want to put her in a brothel in Harlem. Now she's playing the flute nude. Where's that photo? It's just crazy. Like, now you got her playing the daggone flute nude. I can't even find the picture, y'all, but y'all saw it. Like, that was his solution to that's the first thing he thought about doing when he saw the happy-go-lucky girl playing her flute, being happy, having joy. Now his vision is to put her in a brothel in Harlem playing the flute nude. There's something sick about that. There's something predatory about that. And I'm actually a fan of LaChapelle's work in general. But his work has always had a little bit of a twisted sexual undertone to it. One of the things that I was drawn to in Chappelle's work, as I have seen it over the years, is I love his use of light and color, because I come from the art world, and I just absolutely love, the details of the different things, how he puts it together. But look at that undertone. Look at that sexual undertone. Why does she have to be nude playing the flute? There's a lot of other environments and scenarios that he could have envisioned this, quote unquote, as he said, escapist, happy type of girl that he would have wanted to hang out with and gravitate to in high school. Anyway, that's enough ranting and raving from me. I think you guys got the point. I'm a little concerned about Lizzo and what she's doing. I think this is the last time I'm going to talk about her, because at this point, I feel like there's not much more that can be done. We just get ready for this train wreck that's getting ready to happen, unless hopefully somebody like Oprah or, maybe us as members of the community, we can just go to her social media and stuff, and we can just let her know, like, hey, sis, something seems like it's going on. Get some help. Go talk to somebody. Take a moment. Step back from the limelight. We love you. We care about you, Lizzo. We want to see you be your best. We do not want to see you being used and put into positions of exploitation, sister. This isn't about body positivity. Don't let them fool you. You can love your body and feel good about your body and be positive about your body without being nude. It's okay to put your clothes back on, sis. Lizzo, girl, we love you. We love you. So, anyway, I'm going to go now. And this is Deena Jacobs, your Mindset Evolutionary, here at FlyNubianQueen.com, the network for melanated women like you and me. I'm your Mindset Evolutionary, and I guide Black women to freedom from negative conditioning on Sunday nights here at 7 p.m. Pacific time and 10 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell so you can be updated when other queens like myself from the FlyNubianQueen.com network come on and talk about all types of interesting issues, not just popular culture, but also how to get your money up. FlyNubianBusiness.com, FlyNubianMoney.com to get your money up and get your business on at FlyNubianBusiness.com. This is Deena Jacobs once again, your Mindset Evolutionary. Thank you for joining me on this very special episode of Mindset Evolutionary. I hope you have a wonderful night.